Hey-o. Or was it? There's audio.
Stand by me.
Call my dad Looney again.
Okay, it's recording. So check this stuff out, guys. This is insane.
That the number one problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia. That's the biggest problem for children in this industry.
The casting couch even applies to children.
Oh yeah. Not in the same way. It's all done under the radar.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
It's the big secret.
Corey Feldman was one of the biggest child actors
Corey
of his
Feldman.
time, and his career just basically got extinguished because the story came out that he was a drug addict, like so many childhood stars become out of Hollywood, right? Well, he made a documentary about it, trying to tell his truth, and it was
Smash.
basically just like shut down and wiped from the internet. So when I was making this video, because I already knew about the Corey Feldman story, that was kind of the first place that I decided to look. I tried to find some clips of Corey speaking out, and you wouldn't believe it. 3 months ago, he sat down for a podcast to talk about the dark side of Hollywood with none other than Billy Corgan.
Billy
I've got
Corgan.
a few clips from that I want to show you, and they both say things that just reinforce everything that we have looked at in this video so far.
I hope you
I
understand.
write a
what
lot of
this
stuff
is.
down, topics and stuff that I
When
want to
you
look
feel like
into.
it's personal, I
And
oftentimes
then
find myself
now
wondering,
research,
what
Jim.
Right.
So, like, what crime have you committed?
Being a child of Hollywood. All right, that's the crime. The crime is there's what I've come to realize. I don't know if you got to see my
The vape is
when I put it
disgusting.
out, my truth.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's hard to find since we don't allow it to be out there anymore because it was stolen, it was pirated, and it was given out.
I did read about that. I
and
didn't
all
see
of
it.
this stuff. I mean, it was one of the most heinous, horrendous, horrible receptions of a cry for help that I've ever seen in my life, and Hollywood should be ashamed of it. But
So that's your crime.
well, my crime was that I was a kid who was molested, who was given drugs. And so what do they do to those kids? They make sure that they don't have the power
They
of
go
the
away.
boys
Yeah.
when they get older. So that
Yeah.
basically you're, the unsung hero, you're everybody's favorite, you're the future of Hollywood, you're the golden child, and then you turn 18 and it's like, oh, over here. And you're like, wait, what? 6 months ago I was the golden child. What happened? Oh, when he got arrested for drugs, his career's over. What? What do you mean? I'm 18 years old. I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
Yes, I did have a drug problem because you people gave me drugs.
Yeah.
Tend to get addicted when you're given drugs as
Yeah.
a kid, right?
Yeah.
And especially if you've got years and years of abuse that you're trying to squelch the pain from, it's kind of obvious that there's going to be a problem. And they know this. This isn't the first time this has happened. It's a systematic, systemic issue.
I say
that
this in
continues on.
sort of brotherhood, not to glom on your story, but like, if we're playing the game on what's your crime, my crime was telling the truth about my generation.
Right. And my
They
crime was
they
the
hate-
same. I guess.
they hated that I told the truth, that this generation that was presented as integral and everybody was too cool for school. I kept saying, no,
Oh my gosh, I'm missing it. Hold on, guys. Ebony? Where's my cat? I get so worried about my cat because she disappears into the ether, and her her spots are amazing, and she can hide. She's in the kids' dresser, in it. Okay, so, babe, I'm sorry if you see this. Yeah, it's noon on a Monday. I'm drinking a little bit. And yes. On occasion, sorry, darling. I smoke in the house. And we're off.
So you're seeing a lot of the same themes there in what Anya Witt spoke about. This being fed drugs, this systemic abuse that runs in families, and is just, you're kind of born into it, and that's just like the way it is there, which is just sick. But again, like, these are all stories that we've heard before from other people as well. In this next clip, I think Billy is speaking about what he saw with Tila Tequila and potentially elsewhere, but without actually explicitly saying it. Given what we now know, I think you'll agree with me when you listen to this next clip.
What's interesting, I think, about your journey in this...
Oh, man, I have to go back.
Did you ever see it was a movie, but it was also...
I have to go back. Tila Tequila! Okay, this is what got me interested this morning, because I just came across this dude right here and what he was talking about. I'm going to skip. Listen to this.
A lot of these people in Hollywood do, right? I mean, Kanye is probably the latest version of it, but it's not anything new. I like Alex Jones. I'm not like having a go at him, but I can understand what she's saying, that he speaks from fear, right? And that he kind of does a little bit, the way that he comes across. And, you know, it's when you look at the news and the politics and all that kind of stuff, it is, you know, divide and conquer, play them against each other, fear-mongering, like that is the tactic. So what she's saying makes sense, but obviously you're probably wondering like how this ties into her shape-shifting. Well, we're going to get there. He came back with an email, okay? Quite a long one. Now, he asked me to protect his name, so we're just...
What he's talking about is somebody he knows, a friend of his, something in a band that's in Hollywood, that's in that scene, the same scene as Billy Corgan, the lead singer for Smashing Pumpkins, the bald guy that was just on here with Corey Feldman. Leading up to that, that's where this, I watched this before that. This is talking about a guy that's in Hollywood. He's a big name. He's a musician. he had just a sexual relationship with Tila Tequila, and he says on 2 separate occasions that her face shapeshifted. And it only did. It's giving me cold chills thinking about it. It only did it when she was climaxing. And then that was the first time he seen it. And he thought he was kind of maybe a little buzzed or drunk, whatever. He doesn't do drugs, none of that stuff. He was maybe a little buzzed, a little drunk. Maybe it was just him. It happened the second time with her and a girl. And he walks out, and he's in his condo. They're in his condo, this guy's condo. Tila Tequila and this girl named Casey were in a bedroom doing things. 2 girls were doing things with each other. One girl goes down on Tila Tequila, and a boy walks in the room and sees her face shapeshift as she's climaxing again. And he turns around and leaves his own condo and dipsets.
Just going to be calling him the Chicago musician. And I'll have to blur out a little bit of the screen, but that's fine. So, Tila Tequila Shapeshift. This is what he got back to me with. I'm just going to read it word for word how he wrote it. Hey Josh, I'm the guy that left a comment about Billy Corgan and Tila Tequila. I'm not going to mention sources' names because some are active musicians and I do not want to ruin careers no matter how big or small. I did contact my former bandmate who was at the party to make sure my recall is accurate. This is what I was told and what I know. In 2009, Billy was seeking investment partners to co-found a pro wrestling company based in Chicago and other projects, but primarily wrestling. He planned a party and invited celebrities such as former wrestlers, athletes, musicians, and private investors to his Beverly Hills mansion he just purchased. Tila was invited by Sean Merriman, former NFL player. He was with another female as well. Billy and Tila got to know each other during the party, and he asked if she would like to stay the night. She did. My former bandmate, I'll call him BM, manager was invited, so he invited BM. BM manager was close to Billy, so the manager gets a call from Billy the next morning, and the conversation was something like this. Billy, hey, did you notice anything weird about Tila last night? Manager, what do you mean? Billy, did she seem off or different? Manager, I never met her before last night, so I don't know what different would be. Billy, dude, I think she is different. Manager, different like she is the one you want to marry? Billy, no, I don't know. Was I fucked up last night? I mean, I know I had a buzz, but I don't know. I'll call you later. Here she comes. The manager heard Tila's raised voice before Billy ended the call say, why the hell did you sleep in another room? He told the manager later that day he swore her face began to change when they were fucking.
This is the first interaction of Tila Tequila and said dude that he's talking about.
He told him the more she was getting off, the more her face contorted and took a different shape. A week or 2 later, he told the manager he must have had a hallucination and was still talking to her. They were never seriously dating, but would occasionally hook up. A few months, Billy came to Chicago and had Tila and Casey Johnson, her dad is the owner of the New York Jets, and Billy, Tila and Casey, invited several of his friends, including BM and BM manager, to his Gold Coast condo for a get-together. By the way, there is a Gold Coast in Chicago, this is not in Australia. BM said it was normal get-together drinks, a little smoke, he didn't see anyone doing hard drugs, and no one offered him any, and it was an early night. After everyone is gone, Billy and the girls are having fun, hung out base. Billy calls BM manager about 5 a.m, absolutely freaking out. He said they were all, through the night. He went to take a shower and came back in the room about 45 minutes later.
Again, babe, I'm sorry I'm smoking in the house, but I clean the whole house and make sure fans are going so smoke doesn't stick to things. I clean everything every day. That way it doesn't smell like cigarette smoke in the house. I'm sorry, babe.
And Casey
sorry,
was
guys.
going down on Tila, and her face was shape-shifting again. Her eyes were completely black, and she cracked a smile at him as it was happening. Totally freaking out, he told the manager, dude, I have my driver taking me to my house. He also owned a mansion in Highland, Illinois. Tila and Casey doesn't know that I've left. I'm going to send my driver back to take them.
Again, I'm just gonna put this out there. I'm not a full-blown Christian. I do not currently attend a church. But me and the Lord have our relationship. I need to be closer. I need to do better. But this is why I believe in this stuff wholeheartedly, because those trumpets are coming. In my heart, I feel like time's coming. It's coming. It's gonna be way sooner than everybody realizes, man. And the way the world has come to be and to pass, all this demonic and all this stuff that's been coming out in the news, and the Diddy and the Epstein and the this and the that, it's because it's coming, guys. Like, the time's coming when and evil and the devil himself are fighting to round up as many as he can, because he knows time's coming, and that's why this stuff has ramped up so much, and media and internet and TikToks and whatever other sites there is. And AI, like, this stuff is taken over, man. It really is. And phones, everybody having a computer in their hand, in their pocket at all times. Like, you have, what people don't understand is, dude, we have the world in our pocket. The whole world is right here. There's so much. What the hell? See? Like, my phone going off as I'm trying to talk about it. It's trying to get me off the topic and to forget about it. Like, I hate phones, man. I do. I have one, yes. I have a computer. I'm always locked into it. This stuff is addicting to learn and to acknowledge, man. And it's so crazy how true even the Bible, things in the Bible that are spoken of. Man, I wish phones would go back to landlines. I miss interacting with people and just going to a friend's house, popping up on a buddy. Yo, what's going on, man? What are you doing out there in the garage? Nobody does that anymore besides old schools, besides some old school people. Like, me and my old lady, all we have is 2 or 3 family members, and it's me, her, and our kids. That's all we have. I know it's because of the internet and phones, and all you gotta do is pick up your phone if you want to see somebody. No, I want to interact. I want connectivity with people. Like, I miss it so much. Even at 7 years old, how old my son is, I was outside on my bicycle with 13 buddies running the streets, causing mayhem. I would absolutely let my son jump on a bicycle and take off with a bunch of his buddies if it was not like it is today. If it was like even in the 90s, mind you, we weren't particularly safe, but we were together as a group, me and my buddies, and we had each other's backs, and we never let anything happen to each other. all those guys that I would have died for back then, drugs and BS in the world today has split everybody apart. And it sucks. I hate it. All right, I gotta stop rambling because I could go on and on and on and on. Back to
catch the flight.
Tila Tequila
Taking another flight
turning into a
tomorrow.
demon.
Yeah, so that's how it went down. Billy
While
saw
she's getting her
Taylor
hoo-ha
shapeshifted
flicked.
again, freaked out, and abandoned her at his condo. My buddy's manager said he was freaking out, and all he could hear was the same voice yelling, "Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage." I don't know if that's a joke or not, so I've got a laughing face. He said, Billy said on Stern he saw the shapeshifter once naked, but my buddy's manager doesn't know why he said that. This is how it was told to me. I can't prove any of it, but my friend is a solid guy. He never did the hard drugs. He certainly has never lied to me. His manager has also told me the story, and other people that were there did meet Tila and Casey. Who knows? Maybe she is a shape-shifting reptilian. Billy is convinced she's a demon. Happy to share that story with you. If you have any other questions, let me know. So at this point, I'm like, okay, this is a lot. I've got a few things coming to mind, but the first thing I did was to just go on ChatGPT or Grok and look up what is like Tila Tequila's background, because I don't know this shit. I don't know like Tila Tequila. That's not my world. I don't know who this woman is. Well, I've heard of her before, but like I didn't really know anything about her. So I just said, Grok, please explain to me the murky lore of Tila Tequila, her relationships and past lovers. It gave me a bit of a background. And then we got key relationships and associated lore. And you can see here, Casey Johnson, which is who the person in the email was talking about. They were dating from 2007 to 2010. Tragically, Casey died on January 4th, 2010 at age 30 from diabetic ketoacidosis, possibly exacerbated by drug use. And it says Tila was devastated, claiming she was on suicide watch. And I think this, you can see 2010, this is a few years before that video that we watched. So I think this was like the catalyst for her to kind of go like a little bit off the deep end. But that
Oh
off the
my
deep end
gosh.
part happened after this encounter with Billy Corgan, right? So I just wanted to point that out and kind of look at those dates so they make sense. But let's keep going here. Sean Merriman, that's the person who invited Tila to the party. NFL linebacker, again, lines up with what we saw in the email. And if we come all the way down here, other rumored and confirmed partners, Billy Corgan, 2009 to 2010. Tila dated Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corgan, a high-profile romance that ended amicably but quietly. Little detail is available, contributing to the murkiness of her dating timeline. After that, okay, and by the way, so let's just go back to the book, right? According to Reddit, it turns out that the book Billy was writing, where he tells the story of this shapeshifter, has been abandoned. Why that would be,
See,
who knows? Apparently it had like 300,000 words in it, and a lot of work had gone into it, and we're never going to see it. Who knows why that would be, right? Now, bear with me here, because this is where we're about to turn a dark corner, and I think it all is going to link together in the end, and I'll tell you why, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on what that is, but we're about to go into like a new level. Now, the key detail in that email was that her face contorted and took a different shape, and her eyes were turning black, and this transformation is happening while she's getting off during a sexual interaction. This is the exact same details given by Juliet Bryant, the Jeffrey Epstein survivor.
okay, Julian Bryant, she's tied into Jeffrey Epstein, which is a whole nother deep dive that I've dove into that I should have made a video about.
And literally to a T. And this video was in the last video that I did as well, but this is from a interview with Jay from Project Unity that is not new. Okay, this has been out a while. Check this out.
Can you explain what you mean by shape-shifting here?
Well, when I was in the bedroom with him, because he used to take me into that small bedroom, and it was always dark and really cold, and then it was almost like when he was orgasming or something. Like I looked at him and suddenly his face like grew big like this, and then I saw these huge black eyes like this, and then a big mouth with this horrible tongue and like this sort of dragon horn stuff, which is like almost like the devil, or You know, I mean, I can't explain really what I saw, because I saw him turn into this horrible, creepy thing, and I wasn't on drugs, I wasn't drinking alcohol, nothing like that was allowed. You know, like a lot of people think there were parties going on there. There weren't any parties. There was no alcohol. Absolutely not allowed.
So there you go, literally like the exact same details. And like I said, this is where the story is going to take a really dark turn. And you might be thinking, right, like, you know, Epstein is the abuser. Tila Tequila is not an abuser, okay? If anything, I think she's a victim that's caught up in this dark Hollywood world. And we have to go down the rabbit hole before I can explain why. Now, just this week, and this is what I mean, this is all like synchronicity, things are coming out at the same time. Since I put out that video, just this week, someone who claims to be related to Jeffrey Epstein has just come out dropping like absolute bombs about...
All right, this lady he's about to show, she just came out a few weeks ago. She was related to Jeffrey Epstein. Even darker ties. She talks about Walt Disney and, oh man, just
what went
listen.
on in her family and the history of the abuse. And
if any of you guys, what is going on down here? If any of you guys, this is from my daughter, if any of you guys are into these things and follow media and dark Hollywood, dude, you guys need to deep dive. It is so insane, the stories that you can find on what is going on in the world right now that's just not covered. Like, these YouTubers are doing such a good job, man, on covering this stuff, because it is absolutely astounding, astonishing. Like, this stuff blows my mind. Oh my gosh, I didn't know my hair looked like this. Good Lord. Alright. Whoa, what did I just do? Oh, I paused it. Okay. Alright, watch this, guys.
how far
Listen.
back it goes and how far reaching it actually is. And her name is Anya Wick, and she appeared on the Sean Atwood podcast. So I'm going to play you a little clip of that, and then we'll keep getting into this.
It goes back for generations. It goes back for generations. I remember my father confessing that my oldest brother is 8 years younger than him. Is cyclical. With men, especially, when they stifle it, they repeat the patterns, which I don't see as an excuse. I'm not but of course this happens with men. And power and pressure to conform is excellent as a tool for silencing people. They told me that we belonged to the cult of Baal, B-A''A'-L. They told me this with consistency while I was being abused. Now, what you can look up about the cult of Baal, information that is publicly available, is that it is thousands of years old. It is a Phoenician satanic fertility cult. And publicly, it's supposed to have been eradicated. But to my knowledge and my experience, it is not.
Still, right
This is
now.
what people perceive the Illuminati to be. It is a group of elites that practices forced and uses these crimes to control people. They happen to have a huge reach over politics and entertainment.
Huh, imagine that! And Jeffrey Epstein, who she's related to, who she's getting ready to talk about, it's all been proven that he was the turd burglar that was running all that stuff. And then it comes out that he gets popped and this and that, and he is taking the fall for things, and more shit's coming, and then he gets his head bopped off while he's locked up in prison with cameras going out while it happened. Dude, I'm telling you guys, deep dive into some things, and your minds will be blown.
My great-grandfather, according to my father, was Walt Disney. Before he moved to the United States, his name was Artur Bick. ArturBicke.
Write that down. Look that up.
And his twin sister.
If you think I'm crazy, if you think these people I'm watching are crazy, anything that you say, you can look up. And there will be evidence to back it up. I'm not kidding, man. It's why I'm so invested in these things and wanting to know about these things. It's because it's all of it's real. You can look everything up. There's so much to back these stories and allegations, and oh my gosh, dude, it's insane.
Who he had children with, who I am descended from, was named Minnie. That's where we get Mickey and Minnie Mouse. It's very cute, right? Except for when you consider the abuse that I suspect is still happening to children who go into the entertainment industry.
So the big thing that we're going to pull from that is the cult of Baal. And we're going to get into that soon. But first, I found it really interesting that she specifically referenced the Illuminati as the widely known name for this somewhat secret, satanic child abuse group. Exactly what Tila Tequila called them and referenced them in that video that's from 2012. She was talking about the Illuminati. Now, she doesn't specifically talk about satanic child abuse stuff, but when we see the connection between what Billy Corgan saw, what Juliette Bryant saw on Jeffrey Epstein, this lady, Anya Wick, is claiming to be from the Epstein family, his niece, and she's telling us about this 1,000-year-old cult of Baal, right? Now, and that they have a wide reach on politics and in the entertainment industry. Now, Jesse Michaels just did a fantastic 3-hour podcast with Jay from the Project Unity, the guy that interviewed Juliette Bryant and Kurt Metzger, where they went deep on Jeffrey Epstein's ties to, obviously, Israel's intelligence, but also his obsession with fringe science and surrounding himself with anybody who was at the top of their field, specifically from science, entertainment, and politics. They were the big ones.
What interests me and what we're going to cover on this show are the deeper threads around Jeffrey Epstein. What was he actually doing?
He certainly was not a financier in any standard sense.
Really?
That was a cover story.
You want to even get into a crazier deep dive? Eric Weinstein. Listen to what he's got to say.
Yes.
The thing with Epstein was he was obsessed with eugenics and creating his own race.
So they were taking eggs. They've got underground laboratories, right? I'm taking there in September. I think they've taken my eggs. They cloned a baby in 2002. No one ever hears about anything again.
Perhaps one of the lesser-known threads about Epstein was his obsession with secret science. More specifically, his obsession with gravity and propulsion. He would fly physicists out to his island, Kip Thorne, Stephen Hawking, Uri Gelman. He funded Lawrence Krauss on the order of $250,000.
I desperately want to know why
Look up Lauren Krauss. Look up that little weirdo.
Jeffrey Epstein knew so much about my work. And I want to know why he was connected to my graduate program.
How did you know he was connected?
You can Google it.
On his little St. James Island, he built a temple with occult symbology, and one of his victims claimed to see a UFO while on Zora Ranch. It was like he was a front, a global honey trap for secret science, arbitraging the lameness of modern academia and the sexual repression of its scientists. Perhaps the weirdest through line with Epstein when it relates to UFOs is the fact that former OSS officer Donald Barr was headmaster of the Dalton Preparatory School around the time.
Donald Barr, somewhere else I'm gonna look
got his
into.
job as a teacher there. Remember, the OSS was the predecessor to the CIA. Donald Barr wrote a sci-fi book called Space Relations about a future where humans have formed an intergalactic empire ruled by aristocrats. Half the book is about this intergalactic elite class systematically trading underage sex slaves and often using them to gain leverage over other elites. Ring a bell?
If you haven't already, go and check that podcast out. I'm going to leave links for everything we look at today below so you can go and do your own research, which I highly recommend. But I think to anyone who is paying attention in 2025, it's clear that some kind of blackmail operation is happening in the United States. We're told that the Epstein list is on the desk, ready to be released, and now next minute there's no list. Okay, that is clearly false. And I think it implies that the government is compromised, and it seems like it is in the form of blackmail. Child abuse and just abuse in general in Hollywood, like, is not a new story. R. Kelly, P. Diddy, there are so many victims, yet it all just gets like kept so quiet, and it never really feels like a justice is served. Sometimes people get a smack on the wrist, they serve a little bit of time, but the problem doesn't actually seem to go away. And we've heard from many people that to climb these ladders in these kind of spaces, you kind of have to engage with this stuff, because that's how they control you. If you're going to be allowed to have so much influence and reach, you need to be controlled. Why did Diddy need 5,000 bottles of baby oil? Why have 50 Cent, Cat Williams, and Terrence Howard all said the same things about him?
Who knows what happened to Philip? Who knows what he had to do in order to get to where he was at? There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. You know, but when you lose your man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. But when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say I'm so freely.
Like all these years, you being the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long
They
time.
say that you're a hater. They say
You're a hater. You do this, yeah. And now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. Just all this shit is coming.
You can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
It might come from
you
you.
see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn, they were pillaged.
Puffy invited me for weeks, asking me to come and teach him how to, wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. I was like, oh.
If I had to guess, I'm going to say that P. Diddy was the expendable idiot.
Wow, right there. That's why these fucking people don't get in trouble or they spend a little time in jail. Like Epstein, they had to off him because he had way too much on everybody. They had to chop his head off. It's surprising that Diddy's not been yet. That's why he ain't no trouble, because
in the entertainment industry on behalf of this Baal cult, okay? And I know that's a wild story, but just wait. We're going to get into it. Because many child actors have spoken out about the sexual abuse that they've suffered in Hollywood, and a big one that comes to mind is from one of my favorite movies growing up, Stand By Me.
You call my dad loony again, and I'll kill you.
Loony, loony, loony. I can tell you that the #1 problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia. That's the biggest problem for children in this industry.
The casting couch even applies to children.
Oh yeah. Not in the same way, It's all done under the radar.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
It's the big secret.
Corey Feldman was one of the biggest child actors of his time, and his career just basically got extinguished because the story came out that he was a drug addict, like so many childhood stars become out of Hollywood, right? Well, he made a documentary about it, trying to tell his truth, and it was basically just like shut down and wiped from the internet. So when I was making this video, because I already knew about the Corey Feldman story, that was kind of the first place that I decided to look. I tried to find some clips of Corey speaking out, and you wouldn't believe it. 3 months ago, he sat down for a podcast to talk about the dark side of Hollywood with none other than Billy Corgan.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it right there for y'all. Y'all need to go do your own research and look this up, man. I'm telling you, you guys are gonna get your minds blown off your shoulders. No bush. I'm telling you guys, man, the world's crazy. Y'all wonder what is the way it is right now. It's because the world, man. It's because there is another veil on the other side, man, and it is a battle between good and evil every day, every moment. Just like Cat Williams said, there's them and there's God's side. I'm telling you, you need to make sure you're on the right side. Peace and love, y'all. Take care. Don't let nobody get you down. Don't let nothing get in your way, man. Peace and love, y'all.